trouble off of turn number 4. A huge crash. It brought out the yellow flag. Cars involved. Elliott Sadler in the 88 at the bottom of the racetrack. And the 27 car just piled into him.
Wow.
That is Drew Herring. And a terrible crash off of turn number 4 has brought the yellow out for the 3rd time in this race. The crash started with Sadler being turned around, and then Herring came in later and compounded the problem.
Well, you couldn't see it. We're looking at the monitors in our booth here, but we could hear it behind us, and we hope everybody's okay. You see him working with Elliott Sadler there.
Window net down on the Herring car. So a 3rd caution of this race out with 65 laps to go for trouble that started in turn 4 for Elliott Sadler.
Like Elliott was underneath the car there, and he got a little bit loose and turned around, backed it in the wall, and Drew was coming along, and
watch this.
He just slides right down in front of him. Oh, my goodness, wow.
That is a hard hit. At least it wasn't the driver's door. It was up on the left front tires where he got hit, Brad.
Yeah. Elliott backs into the fence there and just can't hold the brakes long enough here, Rusty.
And that's
oh my goodness. Woo.
And Brad, where he got loose was what we talked about early in countdown. Off of turn 4, everybody gets loose up in that corner, especially if you got a car to your outside. Elliott was underneath them and just lost that aerodynamic downforce, causing the spin. And boy, that's a violent crash.
Oh my goodness.
Herring making his first start here at Dover. And first let's watch this in real time and listen.
There, backs at the fence and sitting up on that 24-degree banking, and like I say, once you get to the front straightaway, it's still 9 degrees of banking, so hard to hold those brakes, especially when they're a little soft.
Well, look at the debris. These guys just pitted, and now they have to drive through all that debris.
Wow. Plus, you got a lot of fluid out of Drew's car there. You can see the radiators busted open and stuff running everywhere.
It's going to be interesting to see if these guys pit because of all the debris that he's drove over top of them.
Wow. Point I was starting to make, first run at Dover for Herring.
Yeah.
Things happen fast here, and there's an experience you might not have at any other kind of racetrack before you come to a place like this, and that's Elliott Sadler. Good to see there.
Well, we've seen Elliott take some tough licks this season. We remember back at Pocono, we see Kurt Busch get turned sideways here, and we're focusing on his car as he goes through the grass. And in the corner of the picture, out of nowhere, you're going to see Elliott Sadler come in right there. Here he comes right now. Bam! Head on into the wall. Horrific crash. Here we are now in a nationwide race a couple of months later. Gets underneath the 16, bobbles, backs into the fence. Can't quite hold those brakes. And poor old Drew Herring had nowhere to go, and Elliott's taking another brutal lick. Body's a little beat up this year after racing, without question.
I tell you, I think, Alan, you can honestly say Drew Herring really did not have anywhere to go. I mean, his speed he was carrying off at turn 4. He couldn't have changed lanes at that particular point.
Well, and come back to what I say. First time at Dover, things happen faster here than they're going to at most other places you've ever raced. And, you know, there it is. There's a car in your way. You've got to avoid it.
Well, you're right on with your comment right there. You really are. I mean, if you're a rookie, I mean, you're going to learn real quick. But I don't know, even being a rookie, you could have changed what just happened there.
2 race cars for him today, record car qualifying as well. So tough day for Drew Herring.
All the debris Rusty talked about on the racetrack has forced officials to put out the red flag to clean it up. So we will take a break. 65 laps to go from Dover. The Monster Mile living up to its rep.
Vince Welch caught up with Drew Herring. He was involved in that big crash with Elliott Sadler.
What a tough weekend for the 27. They lost a motor in practice, crashed in qualifying, crashed here in the race. Give us, Drew, what's going through your mind when you come around the corner and you see Elliott sliding back down the track?
Try to do everything I can to miss him. Just got the call late there. I came around, I was already in the gas wide open and got the call. There's a car spinning. Got on the brakes as soon as I saw him as hard as I could and turned hard left. He actually stopped, and the time he did, he slid just a little more, and I just couldn't do anything about it. I hate it for these guys, this whole Get Loaded Ford Fusion team. They worked so hard this weekend, and definitely not the kind of weekend you'd wish on anybody. Hate it for Elliott Sadler. Those guys, I know they were kind of fighting some of the same issues we were, just trying to bide our time and salvage a finish out of today, and definitely not end up like we did, but just one of those days ready to get away from here, move on from it, and look for better things. So just got to keep our head high. This happens to everybody. You know, you're going to have weekends like this the longer you race, so just got to move on from it.
Tough weekend. They'll look to bounce back at Gateway.
Sharp young man, and hopefully he'll be back to race again.